Hey, Board Gamers, BJ from Board Game Gumbo here, back with another episode of Gumbo Live. It's episode number 113. I had to make sure I had the mic on for a second. Gumbo Live, the #1 Facebook Live talk show dedicated to board gaming. Our special guest tonight, we've got Eric Alvarado from Talon Strikes Studios. He's the designer of vinyl. Hey, it's back on Kickstarter, and we're going to be talking about some of the fancy stuff that's going on and a little bit about a new game that he's designed and some new content. Board Game Gumbo, a proud member of Punchboard Media. Check out some of our other fine members like Draft Mechanic. They're back. They had a great podcast this week. Jake and Danielle Bach have a podcast about beer and board games and anything they can do to tie those things together. So Punchboard Media, where we all bring something to the table. Hit us up on social media, on Twitter or on Facebook, on facebook.com/BoardGameGumbo, and we'll be looking for your questions in the chat group. But enough blather. Here's our special guest, Eric Alvarado. Welcome to the show, man.
Hey, BJ, how are you?
I am doing fantastic. Eric, for those who have not met you, I got to meet you once at Gen Con a long time ago, but for people who have not met you, give us the elevator pitch, Eric. It's your first time on the show. Who is Eric Alvarado?
So Eric Alvarado, me, obviously. I am currently the co-owner for Talon Strikes Studios, designer of vinyl. I've been gaming for pretty much all my life. I have participated in judging with Cardboard Edison and Board Game Design Lab, and most recently Board Game Design Workshop. I am a father of 2 sons. By day, I work as an IT director at St. John's University. Also a adjunct professor there teaching data analytics and also computer technology, as well as actually just finished up my second master's and going back for a certificate in graphic design. So trying to keep busy in that regard.
Wow. The name father, also a professor in that New York City area, somewhere close to Montreal. I don't remember exactly the town, but that is nice. Eric, we've got some education here on the show. That is great. Eric, you've been a long time board gamer. I got a picture right there of me and my son and my son's friend, Matthew. Someone put us together, and I can't remember who it was. I don't remember who it was, but someone put us together. You were demoing a game. You were doing some play testing of a game that we're going to talk about later. That was at Gen Con, and when I posted the picture up today, someone said, "Oh, wow, are people public gaming again?" Eric, how much do you miss going to those conventions and being able to see your friends and play games?
Breaks our heart. I mean, yeah, it was one of those things I started to take my 11-year-old son to. And started to get him involved because he got at that age. By the way, do you know what year that's from? I actually had to look it up.
2016.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, I've seen that. I was like, wow, look at that. That was a long time ago. It's like dog years here. But yeah, no. So I definitely miss it. I was signed up to do. I was supposed to go down to Proto Atlanta. I was going to go out to Origins, Gen Con, PAX Unplugged, BGG, WashCon. I mean, I try to get around.
Wow.
It just kills me. Well, I do that because, one, it's great for networking. Talon Strikes is basically now making con presence. But I really enjoy the designer speed dating time where I get to sit down and I'll listen to a designer's pitch. I'll work with them. Like for instance, I remember several times where a designer was just off kilter. I pause the session. I'm like, okay, relax, calm down. You want to line up like this because you want designers to be successful. And I know it's been like be on the other side. So I try to do as much as I can to give back where possible. So yeah, definitely.
It's a live show, and Tover's checking in and says, was that Gen Con 50? That was not, Tover. This is my first Gen Con back in 2016. Jack was just a high school student back then. Now he's a Marine taking off for another active duty. And one of his friends, this was Philip and I's first ever Gen Con. Eric, that was not your first Gen Con, I'm assuming, right?
No. I think maybe third or fourth, to be honest with you. But yeah, these Gen Cons are getting huge. I mean, I think that was probably my first time I got to do the the True Dungeon, which
I've never done it.
It blew my mind. Immediately hooked.
I've heard so many good things about True Dungeon.
Oh yeah, you're immersed in this world, and it's just amazing how they do it. They do an awesome job with that. Definitely, yeah, check it out.
Got some people checking in. Thomas says, hey, hello, everyone. Thomas, usually the first one to check in at Thomas, and you got it tonight there. Nicely done. Verla will be on the show later on, or hopefully be on the show later on. I know she's liking to do some cooking, so we'll have to see that. I didn't know. We have a mutual friend, Eric. Do you know Jay Bell? He says, I didn't realize Eric was coming on tonight. I'm play testing with him on Thursday.
That's right. That's right. Actually, I met Jay through Facebook, and he's play testing his game. Going to give him some feedback and props and whatnot. But yeah, definitely, I know Jay. I think I remember Jay. We met actually probably multiple months back. When, he was looking for some information, if I recall correctly, and again, trying to help the designers is critical.
Love to give back to designers. That's great, man. That's fantastic. Thomas says he used to live in the Stony Brook area. Is that anywhere near New York?
That is from me. It's about 45, 50 minutes. Technically, everything in New York is. I mean, I'm probably. I think by my mileage, I'm 8 miles. On a busy day, it's a 2-hour ride. On a light day, it's probably 45 minutes. So, it's New York time.
Mm. So Thomas says online cons are just not the same. We're planning one. Southern Board Game Fest got canceled or postponed to next year, and we're planning an online one. I did attend Portal Con. Eric, have you taken advantage of any of the online cons?
Yeah, we just did Protospiel. That was probably the first major one, and we are actually participating in Gen Con this weekend. We're actually demoing Vinyl, Jukebox, Big Band, Camp Pine Top, and Shadow Network.
Wow.
Camp Pine Top is arriving and fulfilling in August, street date of September, and Shadow Network is launching in October, and obviously the other 2 vinyl boxes are on Kickstarter now.
We were lucky enough to have Stephen Davis, right? Stephen Davis? Yeah, Stephen was on the show last year sometime to do Camp Pine Top. We hit it off right away. We were both in the Scouts, and so we had a lot of fun chatting about that. There's someone named Jason Washburn checking in. What is Jason doing on the show? Hey, Jason, thanks for sending us vinyl jukebox, and we'll be talking about that later on in the show. So thank you for watching. That's fun. Yeah, we had a good time playing Camp Pine Top. I love the theme. Little animal scouts out there in the woods trying to earn merit badges.
Yeah. I met Steven at it was an Unpub, and I sat down, and actually it's interesting. I was Steven actually submitted his game to Cardboard Edison at least 4 years prior, and I remember judging his game. And with all the games I judge, I try to give as much details as possible. But every time he was running a demo for every Unpub after that, I would try to sit down his game just to see how far I was coming along. And this last Unpub, it was to a point where it's like I said, okay, we really need to sign this in. It was such a great pleasure to work with him, such a great pleasure. And
so you were on the development of the game?
Yeah, I worked with him on the development side. He did all the artwork, and just to see that game blossom to what it is right now, it's deceiving, and that's one of the interesting things I have to work. It's deceiving, that box and all that kitty art and all that. But when you play it with your kids, okay, it works. But then it's one of those games I remember playing with my wife and the kids are in bed. Okay, let's break out. Let's get it's on.
That's how we played it. We went after each other during the thing. There's a little bit of player interactivity in it with some of the powers, if I remember right. Like if you get certain cards, it gives you special powers. It's been a while since I played the game, but I do remember that. It's definitely got multi levels on there. It sneaks up on you.
Right, exactly.
What's the stage of Camp Pine Top right now?
It's actually on a boat. It should be arriving to Fun Again either next week or the week after, fulfilling right after that, and street date should be sometime in September. So we're really happy about it, and the components that we got are excellent. Again, one of the things we do with Talon Strikes, we try to pack a lot of game in small boxes. And usually when people open it up, I mean, even with Winterborn, people open it up like, oh my God, look at all this game in this really tight box. And yeah, it's really, really nicely
Yeah,
done.
the Camp Pinetop box that Jason sent me must have been about this big, but there was a
Right.
lot of game in there. Now I didn't see Winterborn. We had Brian on the show and we talked about it, but I don't think I've played it yet. So where is that? Is that already out? Has that been?
Yeah, in fact, we're almost sold out with that one. We that went out. It was very successful. Hit Point Sales wound up helping us with distribution there. Went into retail, and it's been doing really well. Really solid game.
Gumbo HQ loves Brian Surrey. We love him and his designs. The two fishing games we're all big fans of that. Merchants of the Dark Road, big fan of that. Jason Dinger has played Winterborn. He loves Winterborn. So we're big fans of Brian Surrey. That is a designer to keep an eye on.
Everything yeah. He's excellent.
He thinks outside of the box, man. He's putting all this stuff together, and yet it works smoothly and it works thematically. Freshwater Fly and Coldwater Crown, all the mechanics that you do, they really feel like something you would do while you're fishing.
Right.
Casting out your line, trying to set the hook.
Yeah, it's interesting. We would for the past few cons, we would all hang out. Brian, Jason, myself, Jason Hancock, and he, Brian is just one of those guys. He cracks me up. I mean, he would just say something. It's just out of the blue, and you're just howling like, "Holy cow, that's hilarious!" Just some of the sayings that he comes up with is amazing. Excellent designer, excellent guy.
Good guy. BJ Board Game Gumbo. I've got my guest here, Eric Alvarado from Talon Strikes Games. We're talking about some of the spicy hot games that we've played. And one of the games, Steve knows I love these kind of games, and you got to play Disney's Villainous. And while you're talking about it, I'm gonna bring out my Disney water bottle so we can get in the mood about talking about Villainous. So, hey, first off, tell the story. How did Villainous get introduced? How did you get hooked on it?
Yeah, again, I'm a big Disney person, and with Disney Villainous, I wound up getting a big box, and being a collector of games, I collected everything that came out, or chase it down Target, and then, with us being locked down, I finally broke it out. Said, okay, to my wife and my 11-year-old, let's give this a whirl. And for literally the past 3 or 4 days, it's been nonstop Villainous. I mean, I think I've tried. Let's see. I've done the Evil Queen. I've done
There she is.
Yeah, exactly. I've done the guy, the Voodoo Doctor from Frog Prince.
Dr. Facilier.
Thank you. I did not want to butcher that name on. So it's
That's from The Princess and the Frog with Tiana. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I love that movie. The music is just awesome. But yeah, we've been playing it often, and the family loves it. And I'm certain, as much as I don't like to play games multiple times back to back, this is one of those I'm not denying them any denial on that one. So
I think this is Dr. Facilier right here.
That's right. I'm trying to think who's in the back. Is that Queen of Hearts back there?
That is Captain Hook.
Captain Hook. That's right.
Yeah, he's got the big flip, but it does look like the Queen. It looks a little bit like the Queen of Hearts because they both have that same shape.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Dr. Facilier, he's a tricky one. That's a little bit more advanced. You have to get the timing right when you're trying to get, I forget what it is, some kind of artifact with the city of New Orleans or something like that.
Right, the totem. You had to get that totem or yeah. I tell you what, between that one, let's see, who's the Cruella? That's another tough one. Trying to get.
I love the Dalmatians one. Oh, I love the Cruella. Now it's a little bit of not push your luck, but it's a little bit of random when you're trying to flip over the Dalmatian tiles, or the 100 or the 200. Oh, yeah, that is a fun one. I do like Cruella de Vil, and it looks pretty good on the table. I think I've got. Oh, there she is. Right. We're hitting them right.
Yeah,
yeah. In fact, special Target version of it. Yeah, that's.
Yes, that is actually, because that's. Who is in it? That's Cruella. That is Pete. And I forgot the third one. That's in the
lady from Tangled, the mom, Mother.
Oh yes, Mother Gothel. Yeah.
Mother Gothel. Yeah. Look, name Father Verla. He and I could talk Disney all night. I've got my compadre right here. We can talk Disney all night. So Jay Bell, I've got a bone to pick. He says he's excited about to try the Marvel expansion. I've seen every Marvel movie that comes out. I'm not a comic book guy. I haven't really read comic books since I was a kid, but I love Marvel movies. But I'm not excited about the Marvel expansion. I don't know why. They're just not juicing me up. What about you, Eric?
I'm actually intrigued. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm actually intrigued to give it a whirl. I mean, I'm in the same boat. Seen every Marvel movie. It's interesting who they selected, but I'd be curious, especially now we're playing playing Villainous, if I could slide that in and be able to grease the wheels on that
I've
game.
heard they're not compatible, and maybe that's why I'm not that excited. If they were compatible, I might be a little bit. But I think you got to be I think you have to be a comic book fan to get excited about the comic book villains. Sort of like Disney fans get excited about the Disney villains, right?
Right.
Does that make sense? And since I don't really read the comic books, I'm not going to know a lot of the backstories. Whereas I'm sure you're the same way. Whenever Topher says he's playing Ratigan, you're looking at the cards and it's bringing back memories of the movies, right? It's bringing back, they really did a good job of making the cards and the actions and the artwork very, very thematic. I'm the same way, Topher. I want to try a new character deck every time we play. We're constantly rotating. But I will say this about Villains. As much as I like the game, and I like it a lot, I don't like it with anything more than 3 people. I think it's a 2 or 3 person game. I've played it 4 and 5. And Eric, what about you?
No, it's true. It's one of those things that bogs down because there's just so much going on. You're trying to read the cards if you're not familiar with the character. You're trying to understand it. Even with Dr. Facilier, I was like, okay, what am I supposed to do here? And that bogs the turnout. But 2 or 3 is probably optimal. 3, I think, is interesting because it's really up to the player. Do I want to mess with this person or that person? And you get that A/B type of selection, which you don't get in a 2-player.
But that alliances never hold. You and someone are teaming up against Cruella de Vil, and then as soon as you knock her down enough, all of a sudden you're the target, right? So you have to be very careful. All right, so rank them. Sounds like you've played a lot of the characters. Where do you rank them? What's your top 3? Verla says 6 and 8 people. No, that's an abomination, Verla. So go ahead. What are you going to say?
Actually, I would say I actually enjoyed playing the Evil Queen. That was actually interesting. And even actually Mother Gothel, that was a bit of a puzzle. I certainly didn't win. For some reason, my son just murdering us on that game. But those 2 I actually did enjoy. I wasn't a big fan of Dr. Facilier, and also, what was the other one I had trouble with? It was the King. From Robin Hood. Oh, goodness gracious. Why am I drawing blanks?
Prince John?
King Prince John.
And Prince John's it's Prince John's kind of boring. You got to get to 20, and you're the one that everyone beats up on. Because everybody else, it's kind of hard to see, okay, how close are they really to winning? Prince John, you just, oh, wow, he's got a giant pile of coins. Okay, we got to knock on him for a while. So, Prince John's maybe my least fun, although it's maybe one of the easier ones to play. It's just one of the least ones. I think the hardest one for me is Hades. I find.
Oh yeah. I've
never seen Hades win. At least I don't remember. Hades is just really tough to play.
Yeah. I told her. In fact, we played Saturday 2 games and they did Hades. I'm just like, are you kidding me? There was no way for me to even make second, let alone first. It was tough.
I think I love the new set. Mother Gothel is just a lot of fun. I really like playing Mother Gothel. I think that's a fun one. Topher said Prince John. It's too easy to assume he's winning even when he's not. That's right. And it just you get a little beat up, and you get a little people with the red butt syndrome after Prince John gets knocked around too much. So that's a family game that you guys have been playing at home here in the COVID crisis. So you're getting a lot of playing time, like Topher said, switching around the different characters?
Yes, indeed. Actually, it's, let's see, I think we were probably about 7 plays. So, in fact, you jogged my memory. I remember playing Hades. But, we're just rotating the characters. I think at one point my wife just wanted to stay with Cruella. She just insisted that she at least do better with him and with her, excuse me. And then finally said, okay, I'm comfortable with that. And she moved on to Captain Hook. So, we're rotating through the characters. It's a blast. It really is.
BJ from More Game Gumbo. I've got my guest here, Eric Alvarado from Talon Strikes Games. We've got sort of a music theme episode here on Gumbo Live. He talked about one of his spicy hot games, a game called Villainous, and I want to talk about a game called RagnaRok Star. An interesting title, to say the least. A Viking game where, and Eric, we've seen how many Viking games? You've got a huge collection. How many Viking games do you own?
Yeah,
right?
a lot of them.
So it's not the traditional Viking game you're thinking. It's Vikings putting on a metal concert to try to win as many fans as they can and be the biggest hard rock band in Valhalla. Now, that's not a theme you have in your collection, right?
No, not at all. It's an interesting fuse. I remember seeing that come out. I was like, wow, look at that. That's crazy.
Okay. Now, I'll tell you this, unlike the Villainous pictures that we had shown, this is a prototype. So this is a production copy, but not a full, just one of these prototype type copies, not the final artwork. If you check out the Kickstarter page, you'll see some of the stuff. But I like already what I've seen so far. The guitar, of course, is going to be where you score all the points, right? Mm-hmm. So you're climbing up the frets. Not a bad idea. They've got lots of puns. I mean, if you're going to do a game with heavy metal bands or hard rock bands, you're going to have, lots of puns like Red Zeppelin instead of Led Zeppelin. So it's a French company. So I was able to get a translated copy of the rules, and it's two friends. They're, I think, school teachers, and they've decided to start producing games. And here's their pitch. They're going to make games heavy on the theme, but still attractive to family weight gamers. Sure, there's a lot of games with tons of theme that are all in that 3.5, way up there, mechanically pretty tough. That's not what they're looking for. They're looking for the traditional Euro that's going to be in the 1s or 2s, like a Ticket to Ride, maybe a little bit more than a Ticket to Ride. And the pitch here in this game is that they've taken what is basically a family-friendly game and added programming. And I remember when I was writing the review, I was trying to think how many easy gateway family-friendly programming games there are. There are a few. I didn't think of some, but some people came back to me on Twitter. Eric, any easy to play programming games out there? If you were trying to teach somebody about programming, someone threw Colt Express out. Not a bad choice.
That's true. Yeah. Because I mean,
Robo Rally.
Yeah, that's the one that usually jumps to my mind. Robo Rally, Twin Tin Robots. But again, those are up there, and you can easily get thrown for a looper.
That's what you're doing this one. So and I think what makes it easy, as opposed to Robo Rally, where people have to think spatially and they're programming all of their all of the different cards, and then you got to deal with the not entries. I forgot what it's called, but when you got to put the tokens down and it locks out some of your cards. There's a lot going on and a lot to think of. This one, it's all on a chart. It's a dry erase board, and you basically program your actions. My first action, I'm going to try to pick up a Viking meeple. My second action, I'm going to move my boat to a different part of the board. My third action, I'm going to try to pick up more Viking meeples. And all these meeples are crowd people. And the more people you get in your concert, the more points you're going to score, right? And then there's a little bit of take that where you can try to steal meeples from another person or try to sneak a look at what crowd members are going to be coming in on the next one. So as you can see, there's only 3 choices for each one. They're all nice and color-coded, and it's very simple. The board is well laid out. It's very easy to see exactly what you're doing. Each one, a different section of the board is where the meeples are going to be, and you can look right away and see there's blue meeples and orange meeples. Okay, I got to check off orange meeples or blue meeples on my sheet. So I think that if you like family weight games, if that's the kind of games you like to play, and your game group is okay with that, this is a good programming game with pretty cool art, with an interesting theme. And it makes, it actually looks pretty cool on the table. Yeah. And remember, this is an early copy. It's not a final version or anything like that. This is just a pre-production copy. So a prototype copy. The 4 corners of the board are where all of the meeples are going to come out. And so you're going to be sitting, now the boats are never going to be in the middle like that. That was just me setting up the game. You're going to move your boats around there. The tricky part, the player interaction comes in. If you see there's little icebergs there, there's one all the way at the bottom of the screen. Then there's one at the top left of the screen. Those are either bridges to connect the 2 lands so you don't have to move your boat, or they either lock you in or keep you out from a certain section. So again, you're having a little bit of player interaction. I know that Eric needs a bunch of orange meeples this round. I'm going to put an ice block there to try to stop him from going. So it's got a little player interaction. It's got an easy rule set. It's got programming that's not too overwhelming. And I think it's going to have a good table presence. So that's RagnaRok Star. It's out on Kickstarter for a couple of more days. Lots of visual puns, lots of music references that people are going to see, and an easy to teach game. What do you think?
I agree. Yeah, looks good.
Not bad at all. BJ from Board Game Gumbo, got my guest here, Eric Alvarado, and we are talking all about the games. He's got a big collection, but one of the things he does for Talon Strikes Studios, you go out and find games and help develop games. Is that right?
Yeah, actually a little bit of everything. Yeah, so my primary role is in game development. I go out, I meet with designers, and then go through, listen to pitches, and then try to set up times where we actually evaluate games, and then and then work with those designers we sign and bring their game to life. I mean, that's I definitely enjoy that process, especially when you go from concept all the way out to the table, and you're just staring at the table, you're like, wow, that's amazing. So yeah, that's my primary role.
Well, way back at Gen Con 2016, I got a fun demo from you of a game that you had designed, hadn't been out with a publisher yet. It was a game you were still working on, Vinyl. And when we were talking there playing the game, I found out you're a big music fan. You like music a lot. And I started thinking, you like games and you like music, Eric, right?
I do.
So what would be that perfect foursome tonight? And I was thinking, maybe I could give you a little quiz, I know you like Pandemic, right?
I do.
Pandemic with Julius Caesar, right?
Uh-huh.
Or Vinyl Jukebox, 2 players with Billy Joel.
Billy Joel's my favorite.
I may have done my homework, Eric. I may have done my homework. Yeah, I know you like Billy Joel. I know you like Pandemic. So I'm putting you on the spot. You can only keep one of those 2 games to play with this matchup. All right. Chat crew, what do you think he's going to pick? I think I know which one he's going to pick, but I'm curious to hear you think it out, Eric.
So it's between, wait a second. Just to make sure I'm clear, it's between Jukebox and Pandemic with Billy Joel or the music versus, okay. So between those 2 games, huh?
Yeah, you're playing Jukebox with Billy Joel, or you got to give up that game and you got to play Pandemic, Fall of Rome with Julius Caesar.
Oh, that's a no-brainer. Oh, goodness gracious. Now I'm clear. Shall I answer or wait till we see what the audience says?
Well, talk us through. You don't have to give us the answer yet. Talk us through. What's your thought process there?
Yeah, definitely. So Pandemic is one of my favorite games. In fact, I got to meet Matt Leacock at let's see, that would have been an Unpub. That was an Unpub in Hunt Valley, Maryland, and I got to sit and have breakfast with him, with Suzanne Zinsley, ask questions, and it was such a pleasure. Anytime a Pandemic gets out, I pretty much throw my money behind it. So yeah, I am definitely a big fanboy there in that sense. However, curveball. Billy Joel, his song "This Is the Time" was played at my prom. It was "Just the Way You Are" was at my wedding.
Sure.
I actually, so when my sister graduated from Southampton University over here in Long Island, and he was the guest speaker. And actually, in Oyster Bay, I've seen him on his motorcycle at least twice. Okay, and I've gone to 8 of his shows. So yeah, it's.
I did my homework, man, Father. I did my homework. Jason says you're gonna go with Billy Joel, right?
I mean, just on Billy Joel alone, but Jukebox is turned out to be a very interesting design, and it's one of those that I actually enjoy breaking out to the table quite often. And don't get me wrong, I love Fall of Rome and anything Pandemic, but it's probably gonna be Jukebox with Billy Joel. Yes,
I figured that. BJ from Morgan Go. I've got my guest here, Eric Alvarado. We're talking music-themed games and a game that's out on Kickstarter right now, along with a host of other vinyl paraphernalia. It's Vinyl Jukebox, a new two-player game from Eric Alvarado. Eric, give us the elevator pitch. What is Jukebox all about?
Sure. So basically, with Jukebox, you are actually constructing your own personal jukebox. You are basically drawing these coins that have the different properties of the 45s. In that picture, you actually see coins with country, with rock, 60s, B, and such. And you're drawing those coins out of a bag. And what you're trying to do is place those coins in either the top or bottom slot with the goal of trying to match 45s there in the center of the table. When you acquire a 45, you put it into your personal jukebox and spend those coins and move them down into the coin box, with the ultimate goal of trying to create a 3x3 grid of 45s. Now, interesting enough, for the game, there's two methods of scoring. There's a public-based scoring where you actually, there you go, where you're actually trying to align the scoring tokens to each of the rows or columns based on what you've been able to collect and what's out there. So there's a head-to-head competition for getting those public scoring tiles. And then in addition to the public scoring, you have your own private goal, which is giving you points on specifically where 45s are located, as well as how well you've done with regards to collecting a specific decade, a specific side, or both. The game
that's those little blue cards there at the bottom. Right?
Correct. Yes. They'll have a representation of the 3x3 grid. They can be oriented however you want, and you'll get additional points for getting specific genres in key locations, and then, like I was mentioning, decades and sides accordingly. Again, it is a two-player game. That's one of the things that was requested multiple times. You know, Vinyl's a solid game at 2 players, but there's a lot to set up and whatnot, and people just want to break it out at Starbucks, have fun, pick it up and go. So Jukebox was born, and I always had this concept of, goodness gracious, is there something to do with Jukebox and quarters? And it just hit me in a blinding flash of white light, and lo and behold, Jukebox was born, and actually came together pretty darn fast. It was just a joy to see this one come to fruition.
What's cool about Vinyl, I played the early version of the original Vinyl, and then I played Vinyl Jukebox. And what I was amazed is that Vinyl Jukebox, the 2-player game, it really has the feeling of what you were doing in the Vinyl, in the regular game, and yet it's a unique twist on it. It really is. I can't wait to see, because Talon Strikes is known for how graphically you beautify these games. I can't wait to see what you're going to do with those player boards. I'm imagining in my mind, it's going to really have the elements of our classic juke joint jukeboxes, and got the little coin slot at the top for the next play. So I can't wait to see what y'all are planning to do. But how did you do that, where you take this big 4-player game and just, is it 4 or 5, the original Vinyl?
It could go 2 to 5, and actually 1 to 5 so up to 5, yes.
And how did you distill that down to a 2-player game? What were you trying to do?
I think the big piece was, it's funny because the picture that you had of Gen Con, the concept really focused in on the set collection. And then when I signed with Talon, we wound up building the theme out with respect to, hey, you are the person using the knowledge from magazine cards to collect albums. And it became this massive, awesome experience that, each of the different iterations of Vinyl twist up the mechanisms just enough to instill a lot of the theme. When it came to Jukebox, I wanted to go back to the original roots. I'm like, okay, can I go the opposite direction? Can I lighten you still have the set collection aspect, but just lighten that feel, and probably in March, April timeframe, playing a lot of quacks, and the notion of, okay, pulling tokens out of a bag, that was interesting. I have Altipiano, I have New Orleans, so all these games, I'm like, goodness gracious, can we do this with Vinyl? And it, like I said, it just hit me. It's like, okay, wait a second here. Tokens are quarters. Quarters carry the properties. Okay, I could put them into slots. Oh, wait a second, I got the slots that then could drop in the coin box. Oh, wait a second, I could do this next play thing, and I'm pulling out, and then the stacking, and it just was whack, 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 whack. And it's just, in those instances, I've learned just to ride the wave. Do not fight it. just go with it. And that's really what it came to be.
And it really does feel smooth, and it's got a little bit of that, bag building, and that's one of the things that I liked about it. But not permanently. You're grabbing those bonus coins or tokens, putting them in your bags, with the understanding that when you use them, they're going back into the bonuses. But still, I can look through the bonuses and say, "Oh, I could really use that combo 60s and cowboy together and chain up those things." Because after playing it, the 2 or 3 times we played it, we've really noticed that working on that objective is the way to score some points, especially in comparison to filling out the 3x3 grid. Obviously you got to get that 3x3 grid. Whichever player is not really working on that 3x3 grid, the private objectives aren't going to get met either. So you gotta stay. It's almost like a race. You and your partner are almost racing each other to try to get those cards.
Right. Well, it's interesting. I mean, I've played it numerous times since its inception. It's one of those things that when players first play it, they're like, okay, well, I'm just willy-nilly collecting 45s. And then after they lose, they go, wait a second, what just happened here? Then they're like, okay, wait a second. I got to pay attention to these scores. Because I've seen situations where someone goes for 3 rock, and they're all happy, I got 3 rock, and 3 rock is not there. Why isn't 3 rock there? Well, I told you. At the beginning of the game, one of the 3 scoring tokens is taken out per category. I didn't know that. Well, it's right there. The dialogue is hilarious when you're playing with the game, and then
you got to pay attention. And we've been rotating it, so each game has been different. Sometimes there's a 3 and a 1. Sometimes there's a 2 and a 1. So you're all cheering, and then you realize, oh, I got the 3, and only the 2 is available, or your partner takes it right before you. I did have a question when you're sliding those coins. So let's say you take the 3 coins off and you grab something from the middle. Do you, this is the way we were doing it. We were sliding the coins back to the left. Okay. I just want to make sure we were doing it right. And then the other question I had for you that just wasn't clear to me from the 2 or 3 plays we had. The black diamonds represent a little bit of player interaction between the other person. If I push my luck and keep pulling those coins out, hey, I've got a great chance to either set up a 45 this round, to grab one this round, or to set up one for next round. But if I go into the black diamonds, I'm giving what I assume the theory behind is that I'm giving my partner a free pull from the coins.
Correct. That's exactly that.
If it goes on the black diamonds, then it doesn't count, right?
Correct. If your opponent puts on a black diamond, you just gave him a freebie. So it's one of those tension elements. Like, oh, do I push this? Oh, do I push this again? And that's where you could get people like, I'm gonna help you. Actually, it's interesting because again, one of the things with this game, it's all about the timing, because I've seen people really drain their bag where they have maybe a pull, and the opponents, they can ask, okay, how many tokens do you have in your bag? Oh, I have 1. Oh, okay. And they start programming their board.
And you're getting nothing.
Just like, you just sit there like, oh, crap. Yeah, exactly.
One more player interaction. And then you also have a little bit more also when you get those scoring tokens on the side of your 3x3 grid, if ever you pull a token and you use that coin and the coin matches up to one of those scoring grids, what happens?
So yeah, what happens is that, again, going with the notion of bag builder, one of the things that in the version that you're playing, we have the rival token. So the notion is that when you're the first person to score a group, you actually dump a coin into your opponent's bag. So essentially pollutes their bag. So if they were looking for country, guess what? They just got country because that's what you were collecting. In that same vein, when it comes your turn, you can actually thin down your bag. So you have this ability to sort of shape your bag while also messing with your opponent's bag in that same vein. So again, it's just ever so subtle, in the sense that it's increasing that player interaction and some of the tension and messing with the odds. It's not predictable what's in your bag as you progress in the game. Yeah, it's interesting. I think you would agree. It's that game that's like, okay, I'm just pulling tokens, and that first turn, it's okay. This is boring. And then when you hit that second one, you're like, whoa, wait a second here.
Exactly.
You're getting stuff. I don't like you getting stuff. I'm not lining things up. Things aren't matching. This is getting nuts. Do I do this way, that way? Yeah. It ramps up pretty darn fast at that first turn.
That's where I saw the influence of Orleans in it. Orleans, let's face it, the first turn-ish, even with Quacks, the first turnish, there's not a lot that happens. And then as soon as you get to the second turn, you're like, oh, wow, now I understand what's going on. Same thing with Jukebox. Maybe the first turn, you're really just, I'll tell you what I've done now with my first turn. I'm really trying to look at the 3x3 grid. I mean, with the market. I can't remember how many in the market. How many cards do you have in the market?
The coins?
Yeah.
The coins are the scoring tokens.
No, the actual market of
the market 3x3 9. Yeah, nine total.
Yeah. And I started looking at what I'm doing on that first turn now is I'm looking at the patterns, and I love the way, and I'm assuming this is going to be in the final version. At first I was like, oh, there's so many icons, but the way that Talon Strikes designed them, it's really in little sections, and you can quickly look at each section, know exactly, oh, I need 60s. Oh, that's where they line up. It becomes very intuitive after the first turn. Just takes that. Here's the other thing, Eric, that I like. One of the things I like about two-player games is I like a game like a Lost Cities or a Jaipur where it's so interesting, but your partner did something better than you, and you're like, let's play again.
Yeah.
This game, it takes a little bit to set up. Once you have it set up, it is unnatural to play again and again. You don't want to play it just once. You want to play it 2 or 3 times in a row because the game's already set up. You're just putting things back up.
Yep, agreed. Yeah, it plays. I've played Jukebox in 20 minutes and get 3 games in, and it flows. I mean, it's one of those pieces like, why did I mess this up? That's right. And again, it's that timing. It's looking for when things are coming out and how people are reacting to it. It's got some interesting subtleties there. Yeah.
That's Vinyl Jukebox. It's out on Kickstarter right now, 2-player game. If you liked Vinyl, you're going to see a lot to like in Vinyl Jukebox. Eric, I think it's a great 2-player game. I mean, this is one that we've had a lot of fun. You can play back to back to back. Like you said, you can play 2 or 3 times an hour. Super easy. What's Kickstarter just started today? Is that right?
Yeah, no, it just launched today. We actually did. So now the anthology is essentially 6 games deep. So you have the base game, the original game. We redid the cover art on all the games. You see a sample there in Jukebox where the concept is you get that album circle popping through the center of the box, and that's been real well received. But yeah, you have the base game. We redid the art on Masters of Metal for the cover. We did the art on British Invasion, on Totally Awesome 80s. And then Big Band was also released with Jukebox. So technically we got 2 games that are being added into the mix. Big Band focuses specifically on the 1940s, where just like the big band era. So you had swing and jazz were the hot genres. You are basically collecting albums in those particular genres with respect to instruments, 4 core instruments, as well as 2 speeds of records. And you are basically just trying to, it draws a lot of the simplicity that Masters of Metal and British Invasion does, where you're just collecting on the genre. But in order to retire your collection, you need one of each of the instruments. And then whatever you retire with will dictate if it's all matches, you'll get the highest points. If there's not many matches, then you'll get the lower points. And so you have to time that. The thing with Big Band, it's a little deceiving, is it can tend to be a little aggressive. Unfortunately, I think I ramped up the player interaction probably way too high. I've had some moments where people get, "You took that album. That was my album," and it's one of those. It's funny because I've had a lot of people say that was awesome. That was definitely in your face awesome. Because with vinyl, it tends to be a little softer. Big Band, it's just out there. Here, one shot, one copy, get it or don't. So definitely, and then obviously Jukebox also was brought out today. Oh, there's Eric.
Yeah, I don't think he was looking. So hey, we got a surprise guest here, Eric Buscemi. Eric, I didn't realize you and Eric know each other, and I'm talking to both Erics at the same time.
Yeah, we live one town away from each other. We're in the same local game group. Yeah.
Eric Alvarado. I think Eric Buscemi has also played Vinyl Jukebox. Is that right?
Yes,
that is correct. I've only played online, even though he only lives one town away. Due to the current state of things. We played on Tabletopia.
Yeah, I've gotten a chance to play it. I just got it in, so I had to hurry up and get my plays in this weekend before playing it. I really like it. Eric, as you know, I'm an excellent tactical two-player game player. Eric Alvarado, Buscemi destroys me every time we play two-player tactical games.
Yeah, we played some War Chest on Yukata recently, and yeah,
it was my dinghy didn't survive his battleship in War Chest at all. It was a destruction.
You showed up to the battle with white flags.
Exactly. Now this might be a different story, Buscemi, though, because I'm not too bad at pattern recognition. So
all right,
may be different. Those special powers in War Chest. Oh man, he just destroys me. I'm sitting there trying to learn all my cards and remember what I'm doing, and Buscemi's running around the board just picking off people. I think in the 2 games we played, I only got 1 of his tokens off the board.
Oh wow.
Not good. Yeah, so you played. I didn't want to steal your thunder, Buscemi. What did you think of a vinyl 2-player?
I enjoyed it a lot. I love any. I mean, like I have a whole shelf in my collection that's just 2-player only games. Like all those, smaller like Targi, 7 Wonders Duel. I recently got Imitep Duel, Agricola, all creatures big and small. I could list them all day, but I love that's like right in my wheelhouse. The half an hour 2-player versions of other games, and this one fits right into that. Now I enjoyed it online, but as I wish I remembered who said this because I really I owe them a debt. But like playing online is like trying to play a board game wearing boxing gloves. So I mean, we played probably sub 40 minutes, but I feel like if it was on the table, we could have banged the game out in 20 minutes. It would have been.
Our plays are way under 30 minutes, 25 minutes.
Exactly.
Like that.
So, you got to factor in, like everything takes double online, which is still okay with a 20-minute game. But when you get into a 2-hour game, that all of a sudden it takes 4 hours.
In fact, Alvarado, you got to watch out. This game kind of sneaks up on you. The end game comes quicker than you think. People start getting that bag kind of tuned to what's on the board, and then boop, 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 they pop out the 45s.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's interesting. It's a gaming curve. If you're not watching the gaming curve, you will get crushed by the gaming curve.
All right, so that's Vinyl Jukebox. It is out on Kickstarter right now. Check out the link. Verla and Steve have tagged the link in the show for the chat crew, but it's just getting started, so you got plenty of time to check it out. And Verla's coming in. So Eric Alvarado, this is a board game show, and you know what we have to do on board game shows, right? We got to play a board game. So Verla, Eric Buscemi, Eric Alvarado, we're gonna play a game called the ENVIE game. So I don't see Steve in the lobby, so I'll give the quick description of it for it. He may have gotten bounced out on there. The ENVIE game, it's a Cajun word. What would you all use in New York City? Would it be a hankering, right, Eric?
Okay.
Use a hankering or a jonesing, right? It's something you really want to do. And in this case, it's a board game. So Eric Alvarado's thought, Buscemi, of a board game that he really wants to play. It might be a game he owns. It might be a game that he doesn't own, a game he always wanted to play with people he's always wanted to play it with. In this case, we're going to play roughly 20 questions with the chat crew, and we're going to try to guess what that game is. We all understand the rules?
So, we ask if it's bigger than a bread box?
You can do that. Exactly. Yeah. He's got to answer the questions. And of course, it's not 20 questions. It's not where words. This is the ENVIE game. So Eric Alvarado, the questions are going to be pretty free form, but we'll try to limit those. Any questions about the game? Steve's over there on the audio, and he'll be throwing some of the questions from the chat crew too. So the chat crew is going to be playing, trying to guess what that game is. Everybody here? Steve?
No.
How about now, Steve? Say hello, Steve.
There. Hey, how about now? It was just counting me down 3, 2, 1.
Oh,
Can y'all
I
hear
hear him
me?
now.
All right.
Hello, Verla, BJ, and Eric's.
All right. Let's.
Alvarado, have you thought of a game?
I have. It's probably a game my wife and I actually played when we were first dating. So I'm going back to that. Brings back memories. It's not a game I always want to pull out, but
Is it Stone Age?
Have memories. No. I'm not
Wow,
sure where
that-
you're going with that.
That would have been.
He's going to
Take
the
care
hut.
of you later.
He's going to the hut.
It's a family-friendly show there, Buscemi.
Oh, that's not where I was going. I meant like, back in the Stone Age when they were dating.
That's why I did it.
Y'all are
That works
dirty.
too.
Y'all are dirty.
Yeah. All right, Verla, I'm going to let you take the first crack at it. What's your first question?
Is it an award-winning game?
Ooh,
No.
Buscemi?
Is it bigger than a bread box?
Oh, let's see. Yeah, no.
All right, so it's
It's
not a big box game. It's
And
not.
it's not Fortune
an
and
old-
Glory, Eric.
It's not a coffin boxer. Yeah.
Not Fortune Glory. All right, Steve, you got a question for him?
Well, you said you and your wife played it, so I don't know that it's necessarily just a two-player game, but is it just a two-player game?
No.
Ooh.
Okay.
Is it competitive or cooperative?
I
Ooh.
guess you could say a little bit of both.
Cool. Oh, yeah.
Jay was right there with that question too.
Yeah.
Jay was thinking. Verla, you have one for him?
Does it play more than 4 people?
It can.
It can.
Shimmy?
Does it have meeples?
No.
Meeples. All right. Steve, you got one?
Well, it plays more. Would you call it a party game?
You can definitely have fun with it. It could be party classified. Yes.
Kelly wants to know, does it have cards in the game?
Oh, yes.
Lots of
Not just
cards.
yes. Oh, yes.
Is it within the last 3 years? No, you played it a long time ago. That's right. No, let me take that back. Does it play longer than 60 minutes? Or is it that 1 hour wonder type game?
It could go, unfortunately, longer than it should.
Is it
That's-
cosmic?
No.
That would be tough to play 2 players, though, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Maybe. Yeah. Oh, Jay wants to know, any dice, Alvarado? Any dice?
Yes, there are dice in there. Yes.
All right, let's recap. We got a competitive cooperative game. It did not come out in the last 3 years. It is not. What did you say, Buscemi? It's not a big box game. It's
No, it's not a big box game, and there are no meeples. That's all I got.
no meeples. It
Not
does
an
have
award winner.
cards. It's not an award winner.
Can play lots of people, can go long.
Can play lots of people, but he plays a 2-player, and it can overstay its welcome. Thomas wants to know: does it have expansions?
Oh, yes.
And it doesn't have meeples? No,
No meeples.
no meeples.
Eric, when did you get married?
Oh, let's see here. That's a good question. Hang on. Now my wife's going to kill me. Hopefully she doesn't.
All right, look, everybody, turn off your monitors. Let him think. We're going to pause the broadcast.
Let's see here. I want to say it's 06, 10/29/06, if I recall correctly.
Okay.
Marshall wants to know: is it a team-based game?
No.
Man, he's throwing me off with the competitive cooperative thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let me help you with the competitive cooperative.
Yeah.
One of those pieces where it's sort of like the negotiation. Hey, we're working in this together. Let's take this person down, but there's only one winner. So I want to clarify: there's only one winner, but throughout the game, you are negotiating, cutting deals. Don't hurt me. That type of thing.
That was what was making me think cosmic, maybe, because there's some teaming up and attacking.
Yeah, I was thinking Betrayal House on a Hill, but that would not be the way he's describing it.
You can't even play that with 2.
You can. I guess you can, huh?
No, it's 3 to 5.
It's 35. Oh, okay. I didn't realize you can't play it with 2. What about? Here's my question: does it have a fantasy theme?
Good question.
So the game incorporates many different themes into it. So, fantasy, sci-fi, all different types of themes in it.
Is it Shadows of a Brimstone?
No.
No.
Is it Smash Up?
No, he got married in 06.
Oh, that's true. Too far.
And it
back.
has dice.
Oh, it does have dice. Yeah,
You're right, guys.
Not that I have any clue what this is, but it's not that.
It's not
No,
that.
it's-
Well played.
Buscemi knows what it's- Wow, you've got the chat crew stumped. They're not even throwing any guesses out
talking.
there. Wow, usually they've got a million guesses. Wow.
Well, he said he played it with his wife, but it doesn't necessarily mean he played it before they got married. They could have played it.
No, he
early
said
on
when
there.
they were first dating. Oh, you said that, right, Eric? I'm not
Did
making
you
that
say
up.
dating?
We were dating, yeah. I mean,
Dating,
you know,
my
we were
bad.
dating for a
My
long
bad.
time, but it's probably, I give you the dates of probably 04, 05, 06.
Oh God,
Was this game new at that point?
I mean, they released releases at that point, but yeah.
It was still alive at that point, but it
Oh
wasn't
yeah, yeah.
new.
No, it wasn't like, you know, it wasn't something from the 70s or 80s. No,
All
my
right.
wife would have not even bothered marrying me at that point.
Alvarado, please tell me Kelly Gina is incorrect. It's not Trivial Pursuit. Please tell me.
No,
Dear God, please tell me. Okay, good. You're off the
but you
hook.
guys may lose respect once I tell you this.
Oh, really? Okay. Oh, I like it now.
Is it by a European designer?
I don't think so. I don't think
Is the
so.
designer even listed for this game, or is this like a mass market game? Yeah, is this a mass market game?
Oh, good question.
That's a great
No, it's
question.
not one you can get at Target. No, definitely not. Or Walmart or whatever it was back in the day. Yeah.
Are there
I think
minis?
a Toys R Us would have been the one back
Right.
in.
True.
Yeah,
06.
no, you would
They've
have, you
been
have to
Walden
go,
books.
yeah, you have to go hobby bookstore or hobby store to go get this game.
Are there minis?
No minis,
Are there standees?
no standees either.
Hmm.
Feels like all of the different themes, like when he's saying all the different themes, that's got to be something that can help us there.
That's the hint there, Buscemi. Bunch of different themes. Also, that's why I was thinking Shadows over Brimstone. You know, lots of different themes together. Throwing chunking dice. Is
No
there
board.
a board at all?
That's
No
what I was
board.
going to ask.
No board at all. So we're talking a card-based game.
Card-based game.
Wow.
So just say it's a
Munchkin got
card-based game. It's obviously it's got dice in there. We detailed that. You know, it encapsulates different types of themes in the game. You did at the time have to go to a hobby store or a friendly game store to go get it. There are expansions that I know, for God's sakes.
Is it Magic the Gathering?
No. The dice are in there.
Magic the Gathering has dice.
No, it
Yeah,
doesn't.
not
Life
back
point.
then.
No, we were using the
Oh.
gems. We were using gems.
Oh,
Is it- Is it Munchkin? No, but Munchkin
I was
has a
thinking
well,
Munchkin, but
Munchkin
Munchkin
Deluxe has a board,
Yeah.
but Munchkin itself doesn't. Is it Munchkin?
not quite getting there.
Ooh.
Is it a Steve Jackson game?
No, not Steve Jackson. I don't think so.
Munchkin doesn't have dice either, though.
Munchkin does have a die.
Does it?
Has one
Yeah, for
die.
tracking, but it's not Munchkin. But it's along that sort of same. If you go into the game store back then, you'd have Munchkin, and this game would probably be somewhere
Side. Okay.
in that arena.
It's not
Okay.
Cutthroat Caverns.
I was about to say Cutthroat Caverns myself.
That's another thought.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
good
but
one.
that's really a fantasy theme.
That is fantasy.
It's not a mixture. That's the ticket, Buscemi. It's a Munchkin style. In other words, when
All
you
of the expansions could be all the different styles.
right.
Right.
Oh, that's that. We're getting close now.
Okay.
Are we?
What game?
Anybody who's thinking of going to Eric Alvarado's site on BGG to kind of scroll
He has like a
pack a
5,000
lunch.
game collection.
Pack
Good
a
luck.
lunch.
Yeah, we were. Is it a Smirk and Dagger game? That's where we were thinking
That's where
Cutthroat
we're headed.
Caverns. But Marshall, that's really just fantasy.
Yeah, I don't think it is. It's. I'm trying to remember. No, it's not a Spark and Dagger because I'm trying to remember the logo. And it was a colorful logo, if I recall correctly.
Oh man, this is killing me. All right, I'm going to Little Wars in Baton Rouge, and I see all the Munchkin pile, and I'm trying to think what's the other game that they're gonna have a million.
Is it from Cheap Ass Games? That is
No,
another thing that rings my bell from back in that day.
I remember Jukebox was in the same arena as.
That's why I'm throwing it out there.
Yeah, no, it's true. It was on that same shelf typically.
This is what I was trying to think of: Flux or one of those type of games.
No, but Jay, it's one again. If I am not mistaken, this game was probably either above
On the other side.
or right or to the left of Flux.
Oh man.
What is it that has tons of expansions besides Munchkin and Flux? Of course, Monopoly, but it wouldn't be in the hobby stores.
Is it still getting expansions, or is it pretty much a dead end street?
I haven't tracked this in a while. I think it ran its course.
Thomas, it's not obviously doing a drag.
But it wasn't a collectible game. It wasn't the collectible model.
No. Each box had sort of
A set thing.
little themey story thing to it, but you could take all the boxes and merge it into this ginormous freaking deck of hell. So,
Hmm.
well, you
Wow.
guys are really
I think
We're
they
dancing around it.
I was thinking of the Dice Masters, but that's not it because that would be just dice based. Oh man, Verla, what do you think? Buscemi, Buscemi, you stump?
I'm here. I got nothing.
So I'll give you a hint. The boxes came in colors. They were released in colors. So there'd be a red edition, a green edition, a camouflage edition was one of them, a white edition.
5 Hour Energy?
The base set was blue. So I'm trying to think. There was orange in there.
Is it 5 Hour Energy?
Nope.
I think the camouflage one. It's like sour apple. It's so good. It's so tasty.
That's throwing me.
It's not Gloom, Thomas, because Gloom doesn't come in all the different colors. Love Letter. Love Letter, that came out much later.
And does it have role-playing elements?
No role playing.
I'm tapped out, man. I think Alvarado stumped us. He's got a good one here. Anybody else? Who else tapped out? Anybody?
I got nothing.
I'm hitting the wall here. You got any magical clue that's going to make us slap our faces?
He gave us the color of the boxes. I mean, if we can't
Color
get
of the
it on
boxes,
that-
but I mean,
I feel like if we knew what it was, that would have jogged the memory.
Oh,
there.
I feel
think
like
that
the
was
moment he
good
says it,
clue.
we're going to hit ourselves in the faces collectively.
All right,
Well,
Alvarado.
I'm like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, I'm
So-
getting ready to Google the name of this. Is what I'm getting ready for.
You gave up?
I'm stumped. I'm going
I
to
think you
declare
got us.
Alvarado the winner. Alvarado, you win the ENVIE game. What you got?
So it's Killer Bunnies and the Quest for the Magical Carrot.
Yeah,
That
I've never
is,
played that.
By the way, that is a cheap ass game. You were
Is
you were
it?
right on it. Yeah, Killer Bunnies, cheap ass games. Yep, nicely done. But Jimmy, you were close. You were close.
We were getting there, but I don't think we were ever officially arriving.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought of Killer Bunnies ever, but Buscemi was close because if you went to those game stores that time period,
Well, that's
you
what he
saw
said. Once he said it was next to Steve Jackson, but it wasn't Steve Jackson. I was like, it's got to be.
Dr. Lucky and Killer Bunnies and all those,
Got to be
all those
James
games,
Ernest. Yeah.
all owned by Greater Than Games now. Yeah, they bought the license to them.
I didn't realize
Well played.
it was.
Is Alvarado checking on me?
It's an Ultra Pro game.
Is
yeah,
it?
CTA Ultra Pro. Yeah, that's why I was like, Steve Jackson. I don't recall that. And actually, I think it's still out there, for God's sakes. Their site looks like their site is still, I think they got pulled by Ultra Pro.
Well, I am wrong. It is not a cheap ass game. Nope. And he
Yes.
said he's right. It's still being sold.
That's a
Yep.
shocker.
Well,
But yeah,
wow.
so we played that as 2-player, and frankly, it's one of those things that's hilarious. You're basically trying to kill, you're trying to get bunnies and carrots, and really you're trying to keep your bunnies alive with the carrots, and then whoever had the magical carrot won. It was literally you spent hours, and all you did was roll a die to see, or have a carrot and see what the bottom card was. But just the interactions drew up a lot of stories and memories. We had friends over. It was one of those things that my wife still to this day mentions, and we will probably break it out for our kids at some point.
Pegasus Spiel published it for a while. Would you believe that? Pegasus Spiel. That is a shocker. Well, that is the ENVIE game, and wow, Alvarado, you got us on that one.
Yeah.
Well played, sir.
That was well played. That was well played. That was fantastic. You totally stumped us on that one. All right, so Buscemi, you got anything to say? What people want to check you out? Where do they find you on out on Twitter or Facebook.
Right now, they could find me tweeting about
Your
how I'm
home
trying
address.
to put together a 3D printer, which is taking forever. And I took a drink break, so I'm sure it's going to get better from here.
Well, I didn't realize, but when we were talking in the green room, that you two know each other. So I thought it'd be fun for you to come in and help us.
Yeah. Well, for all the good that's it. You're going to have to bring killer bunnies to one of our game nights now.
I know you're going to lose lots of respect for me when I do it. So
He's assuming we have any. I don't.
All right, Buscemi, I'm going to send you and Verla back down, and I'm going to close out the show then. With
Good night.
good night.
All right, Eric, that was a really good envie. You got a stump there. I tell you, I could even see the big display in my head over at the local game store there in Baton Rouge when I was in college. But that was a good one. You got us on that one. That was fantastic.
Nice.
That's you need to get a copy for your big anniversary, and then you can play it and say, "Look, honey, they still make the game, and this is the new version."
She would absolutely love it.
All right, that's the Envie game. Eric Alvarado was our big winner. Brought to you by Game Toppers LLC. Make your game nights a showstopper, Eric, when you play on a Game Topper. And that's how you play the Envie. All right, board gamers, that's it for another episode of Gumbo Live. I want to thank my guest, Eric Alvarado from Talon Strikes Games, out there with Vinyl Jukebox out on Kickstarter right now. Eric, if they have any questions about Talon Strikes Games or about the Kickstarter project, how can they reach you?
Yeah, they can actually just go to our website, talonstrikes.games or talonstrikes.com, and we have a contact form. They can email me at eric@talonstrikes.games, and very responsive and glad to take questions and such.
Make sure to like our Facebook page, facebook.com/BoardGameGumbo. It helps us to get the word out about all of our upcoming guests and shows, including another trip to New York City. We've got Dr. Steve Finn coming in to talk about some of his latest games that will be coming out on Kickstarter. Eric, I am BJ from Board Game Gumbo. And until next time, les allez bon temps roulé.